Welcome all to the weekly outlook. Boone here from EWPRO. Getting straight into the weekly outlook, starting with the DXY on the daily. Like I mentioned last week, there's two scenarios. This is A, B, C, and that's a low, and we go up and break the top. Or what I'm looking at here and have labelled as an A, B, and we get a C down. I'm really only looking for shorts to get a correction. And then more upside, or it goes down and breaks a low. So up here, I'm only looking for shorts. H4, we're getting all this bearish divergence. So again, I'm only looking for shorts. I'm waiting for a short setup, which can take quite a while. Not really interested in the buys. The H1, again, we have all that bearish divergence. So again, I'm not looking for longs. This is still looking rather bullish. Got some sort of an A, B, C here, so I wouldn't be surprised if that does go up and break the top. Wherever this wave ends, I'm looking for a nice impulse down, correction, and then look for the sell. Or else you could just scalp the buys. If you're buying, you're just scalping at this stage. AU on the daily. Nothing's changed on this either. On the daily, I'm still looking for that wave C up. Hasn't got down to this 100 pip, and we can maybe get down to that. But I'm looking for that A, B, C. Looking to trade that C up, so I'm only looking for buys. On the H4, we do have the bullish divergence. This was looking rather corrective last week. It did fall over, and it still may go and break that low. Really hoping it does break that low, so we start off from a fresh low, get a nice impulse up, correction. Then we can start to look for the buys in here. Till that really happens, I'll stay out of it. There you may get a sell here. We got like 1, 2, 3 up, bearish divergence. You're getting sort of 1, 2, 3, probably get a 4 and a 5 up in here, and then you could look for a sell to go and break this low here. Then you'd be looking for buys. I'm more interested in the buys, like I mentioned. Daily, EU on the daily. Nothing's changed on the EU as well. On the daily, I'm still looking for this wave C up. Like I've mentioned many times, this can turn into expanding flat. Go and break that low, that's fine. But yeah, this stage, I'm just looking for that flat for the larger C up to buy. H4, we got all this bullish divergence, like many of the other pairs. H1 again, this one did come down and break the low, like we got that 1, 2, 3 up, and it come down and break the low. So this is looking a lot better than AU. But still, this is rather corrective. I wouldn't be surprised if these lows get broken, and then, you know, if we get a nice impulse up, corrective structure and a buy set up, we can look for the buy. GU on the daily. This one has come down and broken this low here now, so it's very much bearish. We got that A, B, C. So, you know, this could turn into a large correction or come down and break this low. Not really looking for it to break this low, but it can. As you can see on the monthly chart, this is a wave Z down. Even if it does come down and break that low, it's still a wave Z. So on the monthly, so there is a chance that we still are in this wave Z, and this isn't the low on the monthly. Always looking for this C down in here. We're looking for that A, B, C down to the 100 pip. It's down to that 100 pip now. I think overall we are getting bullish divergence, but this can keep on coming down. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets down to this 161.8, and this turns motive as a WXY, X2, and a Z down. Again, it's very difficult to sell it until we get a nice correction. H1 we're getting all this bullish divergence, so comes risky to sell down here. There's really no buy or a sell setup on it, so yeah, I'll be looking at some sort of an A, B, get a C up here, some sort of a flat. Then on the lower time frames, you could look for a sell as a scalp, but I'll be more interested in a buy, like the other pairs, going in the same direction. Looking for a nice impulse up and a correction, for a buy. That's what I'm more interested in than rather than selling at lows. NU on the daily. So we're looking for this larger C up. Again, this is looking rather bearish in here, but still may not be over. This one was like AU. We got that like 1, 2, 3 up. Nice impulse down. Didn't come down and break the low. So this is going to be a lot more corrective, in here before we get a lower low. So yeah, be careful with the buys at this stage. Really like to see this end lower low, and then a nice impulse up, correction, and then I can look for the buys. After I get this correction, then I can go down onto the lower time frames and look for a buy. GU on the daily. This one here, I would be staying out at this stage. This is looking still rather bullish over here, but we got that we got this WX extended wave Y. I'd be looking for an X2 and then a Z up. Looking at some sort of a flat in here, possible flat for the X2 before we get the wave Z up, finishing off wave Y. We are starting to get a bull hidden here. So more interested in the buys, but if you are looking to buy this, you're buying it at the top of the market. So I'd be looking for, just put that on, looking for a break of the trend line or some sort of a bullish setup. At this stage, there is no bullish setup. It's more bearish. Lost all the bullish divergence and you're getting some sort of a correction in here, and then you get another one down. So it's still more bearish than anything. But yeah, I just staying out of this until the correction's over, and then I'll start to look for a buy. UY, excuse me. I'm looking for this C down. We still haven't got any sell set up on it though. H4, we got all this bearish divergence, so I'm not looking for any buys. I'm just looking for a sell setup, waiting for a sell setup. until that happens, I'm pretty much staying out of this. I'm not going to be buying it at the top of the market. Yeah, there really isn't any sell setup on it. Ideally, it comes up, breaks the top again, gives us a nice impulse down, a correction, and then I can look for a short. Until that happens, I'll be staying out of this. UCAD on the daily. This is quite it's quite difficult, this pair. We got this X1 and the X2, which are of a similar size. We got a nice impulse up, I would like it to go up to these targets. Like I've mentioned, the 123.6 and the 161.8 first and second target. There is a chance that this is a flat though. There is still a chance that this is an A, B, C, and then we get the A, B, C down. So it will really depend on what's happening in here, whether this is corrective and we get another one down, just 3 down, and then more upside. So at this stage, I'll be looking for a short for this possible flat wave C down, or it turns in just to a smaller degree C wave. So at this stage, you can really only sell this. We sort of got 1, 2, 3, 4, get a fifth one up here. And then if I've got any sell set up, I'd be looking for the sell. Just waiting for this correction in here. And then I'll be looking for a sell. It may just turn into an A, B, C, or it may go down for the larger C and break the low. But waiting for an opportunity to get into that sell. The Swissy on the daily, this one's started to turn quite motive, which is nice. We got this A, B, C down, bullish divergence. This was quite choppy in here, and then it started to go. So this is quite nice. I do have quite a few trades in this, in the buy. Longer term trades, I got one in here, one in this correction, and I got in another one in here somewhere. And I'll be looking to add. On the H4, we got like an A, B, C. It's gone straight through that 100 fib. So next target is that 161.8. So this will turn motive, W, X, Y, X2, and a Z up. Yeah. So what I'll be looking for next week, if I just zoom out a bit, I got into a trade on this here. Then in here, I got in a second trade. Then in here, I got in a third trade. I'll be looking to get into a fourth trade in here. If we get a little flat in here and then I'll get a buy set up, I'll be looking to add to my positions. Overall, what I'm targeting is at least this 50 fib, because we got 3 down. If I just go to the monthly and show you what I'm looking at, maybe. So on the monthly, we got an A, B, C, and then we got a W, X, Y, X2, a Z down. Or you could look at this as a flat, as a B, C. Doesn't matter. We've got bullish divergence. So I'm looking for a larger correction. So I'm looking for 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we may get 5 up in here as a complex correction, a 3, 3, 5, and then come down, break the low. Or it can just be 1, 2, 3 as a 3, 3 corrective structure. Or it may just be an impulse, but I'm looking to get into this impulse. That's what I'm looking to get into. So that's why I'm accumulating trades as a long-term trade. Like I showed on the H1, I'll be looking for, this is looking very choppy in here. I'll be looking for a nice sharp wave down in here and then go down onto the lower time frames. If I get any buy set up, I can look to buy. But yeah, EG on the daily. This one started to go. We've got that A, B, C. and we've got like a WXY, X2, and we've got a Z down in here, giving us all that bullish divergence. Now we have a higher high. So you're only looking for buys. Well, like we were last week, we're looking at this flat here to buy. This is more than likely going to turn motive. It's looking very motive. So I wouldn't be surprised if it gets up to this 161.8. We get a WXY, X2, and a Z up. The H1, you still can scalp the longs. We don't have any bearish divergence. I'd be waiting for some sort of a structure. It looks like, we got some sort of an A, B, C in here, and then it's gone up and broke the top. I'll be waiting for another sort of a bullish structure before I buy. This is the one that you wanted to get in for this C up or wave Y. At this stage, there really isn't much on it. You'd just be going down to the lower time frames looking for buy setups, waiting for a correction. Yeah, there really isn't a buy setup on it at this stage, unfortunately. WTI is taken off. So we're looking at that WXY, X2, the Z down, finishing off the move. We had all that bullish divergence. It was quite choppy in here, but it did turn motive. I explained what was going on in this last week. We're looking for this larger, excuse me, larger X2. We're looking at a WX extended wave Y, X2, and then it'll be looking for the Z up. We got this internal WXY, X2, and a Z up. We had that bull hidden in here. We're looking for that wave Z up. We lost all the bearish divergence. So I'm just looking for that. I'm waiting for this X2, and then I'll be looking to buy this. At this stage, very risky to be buying. We're at the top of a market. We're getting all this bearish divergence. It's sort of looking like it. If I just zoom in a little bit, it's sort of looking like an A, B, C in here, and then an A, B, C, and then I'd be looking for an A, B. I'll be looking for downside after we get this correction. So if you get another one up in here and then a sell set up on the lower time frames, well, you could look for that for at least an A, B, C. Gold on the daily. This is quite complex as well. There's so many different structures this can turn into. Like I've mentioned, we got impulse, 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 and then we get the correction. So it can be impulse, correction, impulse, impulse, correction, impulse as a larger flat, and then we get the impulse, correction, impulse. It's very choppy in here. I would be staying out of this. At this stage. There really isn't much at all. I was looking for this A, B, and a C up. This C up never went and broke that top, so that's why I'm just staying out of it. There's so many different structures this could be now. Until I find a structure that I can identify, a corrective structure that I can identify, well, then I'll start to trade it. I mean, on the H1, you could definitely look to, sell as an A, B, C. I dare say that's what will happen. We'll get an A, B, C. If this looks very corrective in here, well, you could look for at least a C down. And then we'll be waiting for, see what sort of structure we get. Silver, very similar. You know, we got that W, X, Y, X2, and the Z up. Not sure why my count's not on there now, but anyway. And then we get this larger correction. We lost all the bearish divergence, so I'm just looking for a larger correction before we get more upside. We're in this correction now. It's more of a sell. Actually, no, it's a buy. Do we have a bull hidden here? It's very hard to say. I think we may just have a bull hidden here. So yeah. Yeah, this is very difficult as well. You know, it's got some sort of a flat in here with a flat in the middle. So you got some sort of A, B, C, A, B, C. You could, if you got a buy set up, you could look for a buy. It'd be just a scalp. Really, it'd be quite risky. I think we do have bearish divergence in here already. Yeah, I believe we do have bearish divergence between the two impulses. This impulse here and this impulse here, I believe we just have bearish divergence in there. But if you do get a bullish setup, well, you can look to buy. There is no sell. For a sell, you'd need a nice impulse down, breaking that low, and then a corrective structure, and then you could look for a sell to go and break the low. Bitcoin on the daily. So we got this A, B, C extended wave, C as a expanding flat. Nice impulse down. Now I'm just looking for that correction. Looking for a correction in here and then go down and at least break this red line here, this low here. I mean, this is going to be extremely choppy for a very long time. Like I've mentioned, Bitcoin stays in corrections for a very long time. You know, stays in corrections for a very long time. You have to be very patient trading this at this stage. It's really, you going down to the M1, H1 at this stage. So we've got some sort of a flat in here as an A, B, C. This is quite choppy coming down here. So it's more of a sell, if anything, though. I think this low here has been broken. It has been broken. So I would be looking for some sort of a correction in here and another one down. It'll only be a scalp. Really, you're only scalping on this pair, but I'd be looking for correction in here and then another one down. And then if it comes up, breaks at top, well, then you could look for a buy, or you just stay in the sell and it falls over for you. S&P 500. So looking for this WXY, we're in this X2, and then I'll be looking for that wave Z up. I'm really only looking for the buy at this stage. I'm waiting for this correction to be over, the X2 to be over. Nothing's changed since the last few weeks. Like, we were looking for this up in here as an A, B, C. We got that. Then we're looking for that A, B, C. So it's pretty much playing out as forecast. We've lost all the bullish divergence, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get down to this 100 pip here. Is there a sell on it? Well, you got to wait. You got to wait for an X2. Got some sort of a WXY. You'll be waiting for an X2, and then you could look for the Z down. Very important to wait for this to trade the Z down, or else you can get into trouble. You look for a sell in here. Sell in here, and it just goes up and cuts you to pieces. Wait for the larger correction and then trade. AU 200. This is very choppy. I'm looking at that A, B, C. We've got an A, B, C in here. Looking for an A, B, C. It's been very choppy, this wave in here, but it is starting to complete the structure. We've lost all the bullish divergence in this one as well. Yeah, so I dare say we'll be getting a bear hidden in here. I would be looking for a bear hidden. Sorry, just zoomed out too much. I'll be looking for some sort of WXY, X2, and a Z down. So I'll be looking for a Z down. I dare say we do have a bear hidden in there, and more than likely we'll get another one up in here. If you're trading the buy, you have to be careful. May just be a C up and then fall over on you. I'll be more interested in the sell once we get 3 up in here. Then I'll be looking for a sell. That hidden divergence. The FTSE, we're looking for buys on this. We're looking for an A, B, C. Really like this to get up to that 100 pip, break that top as a regular flat, and then I'll be looking for excuse me, A, B, C. Be looking for this C down after this one's complete. Excuse me. You'll be looking for a wave Z up here on the H4. We've got like a WXY. You're getting another correction now. You'll be looking for that wave Z up. The DAX on the daily, we're only looking for sells, like I mentioned, for many, many months now. All that bearish divergence. Looking at an A, B, C, as an expanding flat before we get like a B, C. It hasn't fallen over yet. Really, you can only sell it. Any sell setup you get, you're looking for sells. This was quite difficult here because this can turn more complex. Unless you're looking at this as a contracting flat and as an A, B, C, yeah, you could look for a sell in here. The problem with that is this could turn more complex as an A, B, C, and then you get an A, B, C up as your flat, running or expanding flat before you get the A, B, C, or it may turn into a wave Y, it may turn motive. So yeah, you'd have to identify the structure. If you're looking at that as a contracting flat, it's very risky. I would be looking for a more complex correction as like an A, 1, 2, 3 breaking the low. So I'd be looking for an A, B, C as a running or expanding flat. Get this one up in here, and then if you get the sell set up, it'll be a great opportunity to get into a sell at the top of the market. So I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. If you did, please help the channel out, share, subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.